Batman is a character in some ways unlike any other pop culture icon. Superman has always stood for truth and justice, and been a little bit of a Boy Scout. Mickey Mouse orbits tightly between saccharine and mischievous. The Ninja Turtles might be, in some ways, the closest to Batman, being started as a gritty spoof of gritty comic books, then being popularized as a goofy TV show that actually gave them distinct personalities, with every adaptation since mixing the two, tweaking the balance, with the very best finding the sweet spot, where the lovable, if archetypal personalities from the show give us characters we actually care about, and raise the stakes of the original dark storylines from the comics. But even the Turtles have tended towards the middle of their characterization, whereas the Bat can wildly veer between the two poles. As pointed out in the amazing book by Glenn Weldon, The Caped Crusade, Batman and the Rise of Nerd Culture. The Dark Knight's darkness has gone through 30-year cycles, from goofy adventure to brooding gothic. Weldon also points out that while it's actually a core part of his characterization, the first thing to go whenever Batman's going dark is his family. And now, the cycle of ejecting and bringing back the sidekicks
of lightning
and darkening the character
might just be turning anew, or maybe just collapsing in on itself. I'm not really sure. Because uniquely, in a bit of meta-narrative resonance, yes, I did just make that word up, but I stole the idea from Movie Bob talking about the Avengers movies, the Lego Batman movie dramatizes the turn of this cycle, making an argument both in-universe and out that it's time for Batman to grow up again and have some new relationships. While doing this, the film also embraces and celebrates the aspects and interpretations of the character that have historically been seen as goofy by many, while mocking the darker version of the character as something juvenile, something to be grown out of, not aspired to, which all makes the Lego Batman movie an almost perfect Batman movie. At least it's the perfect Batman movie for someone like me, whose favorite thing in Gotham is the sprawling team and family dynamics that play out underneath the tutelage of the Caped Crusader. The next best thing is his sprawling and iconic rogues gallery, which the film also nails. The film starts as a merciless parody of the tortured loner Batman, who successfully took cinematic shape in Nolan's films, before the concept was pushed to ridiculous extremes by Zack Snyder. Initially spoofing the more absurd elements of both these interpretations, the film also lays the groundwork for a character just as 3D as Nolan's, who matures into something light years more mature and adult than what's shown in Snyder's juvenile incarnation.
I did something!
The loner Batman at the beginning of the Lego Batman movie isn't an endpoint. He's a greedy, Scroogey Scrooge, like the one at the beginning of A Christmas Carol. But like in A Christmas Carol, by the end we get a character who's far wiser. This is a movie whose central thesis, spelled out almost as bluntly as I'm about to, is that the surrogate family of the Bat family is possibly more important to Bruce Wayne getting over his parents' death than being Batman. The movie presents the loner grimdark knight as someone in severe arrested development, someone to be mocked or pitied, not someone to be aspired to. It also presents the oft maligned as goofy sidekicks as instead the most human and real aspect of the character. Lego Batman goes from thinking he's the only person who's ever had a good idea at the start of the film to someone who relies on his teammates, either using their individual plans or synthesizing them into a new master plan. While Batman, in his many incarnations, has gained reputation as a guy who doesn't do teams, honestly, this is just because he's one of the few heroes who, while not explicitly starting on a team, is nonetheless the member of dozens of teams, including both the Justice League and his sprawling family of sidekicks. In reality, compared to loads of other modern superheroes, he really is
best at teamwork. Best at Teamwork Man is my full name.
And that's exactly who he grows into by the end of the film. Interestingly, I think the lessons learned from Lego Batman can still be applied to a fully Dark Knight. The movie shows a way to move the character forward, replacing artificial gravitas with serious relationships and real, understandable human stakes. Lego Batman is afraid to have a new family because he's afraid to lose them. And in the comics, that's exactly what happens. Dick grows up like any child and leaves his surrogate father figure to start a new family with the Teen Titans. His immediate successor as Robin is killed, and while he gets better, these are comics after all, he comes back as a villain. His connection to the Bat family severed. It does eventually regrow, but only partially and after years of work. Barbara ends up in a wheelchair, and while she does eventually get better too, it took decades and she had to learn how to serve the team in an entirely new role. Batman letting others in opens him up to mountains of pain and heartache, just like Lego Batman feared. But as the movie argues, the only thing worse was not letting them in. So yeah, read this book, people. It's really fantastic. It's an amazing history of Batman and just like how the characters changed over the decades. Also, yeah, the Lego Batman movie is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's wonderful. Talk to me, people, in the comments. Who's your favorite Batman sidekick? Who's your favorite superhero team? Who's your just favorite team of people that need each other in fiction? Yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Bye!